Happy June 16th. I'm promoting Holly and myself on to Set the Edge. I'll explain why later. Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman here. I was very proud today. My son Jackson in 8th grade got promoted. I know what you're thinking, not for a job. He got promoted to high school. We took pictures, and he, by the way, he made honor roll, so he graduated with honors.
No, that's an accomplishment.
It is, and by the way, he is not taking my skills. What's going on, Joe? What's going on? Back-to-back shows. Jared and I are on tomorrow night. Holly and I leading off. But we were just talking about this before we came on air. When I graduated from 8th grade Hilliard High School, or middle school, you know what they told me? Here's a slip of paper telling you what you're going to do next. I think that was it.
Yeah, no, we didn't. I'm trying to remember from middle school. I don't think we did any graduation, anything. It was...
No.
See ya in the summer when I got to go to, high school. I do always remember, though, what I wore.
I knew you would.
So, you got to.
I for those of you, I observe Holly now very well. Holly has got the best shoulder shake in the business. Shoulder shake better than anybody. It's so fucking
feeling good.
It's so fucking good. Feel good.
Oh, God.
All right. So talking about feeling good. The Browns are feeling good, hence the Browns gear for me. I just came back from a Little League game. Thank God my son Cameron Billman won. Thank God. That was way too much excitement from one man tonight, in my opinion. We'll talk about that. Bieber's injury. The Indians are up 6-3 on the Orioles right now. And then we're going to get into the baseball topic, which Holly and I talk about often. There was a wonderful article done. We're going to get into that. Bally's big thing, which we've been hinting at, and Holly knows a lot more about. I think it's actually a very good idea. I think it's a potentially be a very good idea. The injuries in the playoffs. I don't know if anybody wants to talk Cavs. We can mention them if you want. And we'll throw in a tornado engagement. And there you go. That's the show. But we should lead off with Baker Mayfield because everybody's big topic today, whether it's NBC Sports. I didn't see it on ESPN.com, but I did see it on any kind of major publication. Baker saying, hey, the contract is out of my hands. I live day by day. And, very calm and very good press conference. So here's where I'm leading off this, Holly. The contract's one thing. People can debate what that means. I thought he gave a good neutral answer. I have been blown away by the Baker Mayfield experience and how he's matured. And I heard this from people who are not from Cleveland remarking back today, this just sounds like such a different Baker Mayfield from 2 or 3 years ago. And it's very remarkable. And these are national people I was listening to today say it. And I said, God, I'm glad it's not just me, because that's what I said when I listened to him. Forgetting the verbiage, I mean, we can break it down if you want. I just was very, very impressed by Mr. Mayfield today. And I got to be, and I'm going to wave my flag of I told you. A week later, is anybody fucking talking about who made the voluntary workouts?
Well,
nope.
No.
Nope.
But just hold on. I mean, look. I think after we did our show before. Did we do our last show before OTs? Because we had a break. We had another break in between because Andy's life is hectic. From last week. Because I don't think it came out yet that Baker and his crew, OBJ and stuff, they were all down in Austin, right?
It was just.
Andy, I can't hear you. You're on mute, bud. Technical difficulties, everybody. This is what happens. I mean, we could do the whole show like this. I'm fine with it, I'll have conversations with myself. I do it all the time.
Here we go.
Hey.
The shoulder shimmy. Emily Courts, Mr. Mayfield. Back to what you're saying.
Yeah, so they, Baker, I think OBJ was down with Baker down in Austin, and they were all working out. And it was like, all right, great. I'm glad that they're doing something. But, like, why weren't they at that point? Why aren't they together? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just, I don't know. Why even do that? I mean, that's where I kind of like, look, we already went through this whole thing and whether or not they matter. Do I think they really matter at the end of the day? No. Do I think it's a sign of good faith in all that sense because a lot of other teams and their major players were there? Yeah, I do. But it is what it is. Now that they're here, I'm just trying to move on and move forward. Right. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but back to your little bit of your Baker push here. I agree. I mean, he's matured well beyond what I anticipated him to. I think last year taught him a lot, and not just him, but a lot of those guys, obviously, well, and everyone for that matter across the board. But of just, keeping your head down and doing what you got to do. And when you shut people up when you play well, you just do. And so that's what I think he's also learned. And people are recognizing the Browns. I think that's great. I hope we keep that underdog type of mentality going into the season. We feed off of that, especially Baker does. And by the way, did you see that workout video he posted? The workout promo video?
You could do a shoulder shake for that if you'd like.
Dad bod be gone. I mean, he's looking real fit.
He's fit.
So so he's definitely putting in the work. So I'm here for that. I'm not trying to, focus on last week or whatever the week before that was. I think it was the week before the OTAs, but
yeah, no,
he's matured and he's gonna, we know that year 3 is huge for a quarterback. So this is going to be an interesting year. I'm super optimistic, but I'm also trying to be realistic.
Realistic, Regina.
Right.
So here's where I come off on Baker's contract first, and I'll follow up on those comments. Baker, I like the leadership and I love the vibe that people nationally are feeling it. And again, I think the Bengals game second half and on was a brand new Baker. Ups and downs for sure, but pretty much ups. And I think he's changed tenfold. Holly mentioned something that I'm hearing more and more, but I'm not hearing worrisome yet. The Browns are going to be a targeted team. There's no question when the Bears play the Browns in week 2, they're going to circle that game. There's no doubt where teams from the past would have shrugged their shoulders, not shimmy shake, but shrugged their shoulders a little bit. They would have actually said, well, we want to beat the Browns. The underdog Browns is going to be tough. I would not hold on too much hope with that. Holly, you should bring him some cheesecake. Emily Quartz. Not sure what that means.
Oh, Andy. Do you follow pop culture in sports?
Of course I do.
And Baker's alleged infidelities.
Look, I'm directing films, producing films. I'm
trying to keep this PC here, and she is not making it easy.
Emily Quartz, you just text offline what that means. I have no fucking clue what that means.
Well, Andy, I'll fill you in. He had some alleged transgressions go down at a cheesecake factory.
Oh, right. 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 Oh, right. No, Emily, you're not. I see your comment on Facebook. You're not too low brow. Don't you worry. You can bring the cheese and the cake in this show. Don't you worry. And by the way,
Emily, either.
By the way, Cheesecake Factory has got wonderful bathrooms. Lots of space.
You know what? I kind of feel like I know that. Do they go like those stalls I'll tell you what. The real MVP of bathrooms are the ones that have the stall doors from the top to bottom.
Oh, yes.
And the individual ones.
Yes. I'll tell you the best ones is I travel a lot. If you ever need to go quick, just go into a good hotel. Those bathrooms on the first floor are always pristine.
Nobody's using them.
No. People laugh. They go, why would I stop at a McDonald's when I can stop at a Hampton Inn lobby?
It's a great idea.
Oh, I do it all the time. I'm like,
that would have been a good idea. I just went on a road trip, and that would have been good advice, Andy, that I should have taken because, trying to travel, I was also with my parents, is a whole other level of stress. So,
wow.
Bathrooms are always a big deal. Where are we stopping? Where are we going?
Well, I love my mom, and my mom's watching. I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. What are we eating? What are we going to eat? What are we going to have? What are we going to do? It's always about food. What are we going to do? What are we going to eat? Breakfast, dinner, lunch? What kind of champagne are we having?
Ooh.
Prosecco? Are we making mimosas? Bloody Marys? Maybe those little things. I still call them nips. Is that bad? I don't know. Anyways, this shows Emily Courts. Thank you. Hey, Kevin Atkins.
Emily put us on a hole.
Emily, thank you for taking us down deep.
Oh,
I am excited about this Baker though, and even though the expectations are high, this is where I was going with this. I think the Browns are ready for it, and I think this is a '90s Indians 15, 16, 17 type vibe with the Browns from the Cavs. I really think this team's ready. When I'm hearing it nationally, and you're hearing people saying it's hard to get nitpicky, something we put in a rundown today that I was hearing, mostly from Cleveland, but I was hearing nationally is how good Clowney looks. Now, look, these are mandatory OTAs. Who knows what the fuck it means? But at the same point, like they're saying how he looks fresh, how he's playing up. And again, it's June. We'll see what happens in mid-October. But it's hard not to get excited. And we should follow up with Baker. Well, again, I am so blown away from how different he sounds from 2 years ago. It's just remarkable. And kudos to him. He's done a great job. He talks like a franchise quarterback, and it's wonderful. But the attitude from Ward, Chubb, hey, we're hopefully negotiating. I want to stay here. Holly, it's hard not to fall in love with this team. And they haven't played a game yet.
Well, yeah, and we've seen, look, we when you see what works, right? We saw what happened last year. We saw the culture switch. We saw the positivity amongst a global pandemic affecting the entire team and beyond. I mean, the way that they persevered was pretty remarkable. So it's hard to not be excited and feel all the warm, fuzzy, good feelings inside about them,
Yep.
And you mentioned about the kind of the national media catching on that goes to Kelsey, who made a couple comments about how, that he feels like the Chiefs and Browns are neck and neck. I think that that's a huge statement for sure. And so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm hoping, look, I want them to give Kansas City a run for their money to week one. I have them losing as of now. I think you took them winning when we did go through the schedule. We played the schedule game.
I think they were winning.
But if they, give them a run for their money, that's all I care about, because I know that we'll probably see them again. And, but I want to go do a strong start. I just think that's so important. That's something the Browns have not done in a really long time, is having a strong start.
Winning an opener since Jeff Garcia, and people who don't even say who. Yeah, I mean, that's 2000. I think it's 2004. I mean, that's been at home. Kevin Atkins, so much talent, crazy excited. Kevin, I was flipping around today, so I just wanted to get the vibe of them, because a lot of teams are doing mandatory mini camps. Some of them are kind of spread out. It's amazing. I was listening to NBC talking about the Browns, listening to a couple other stations talking about the Browns, and everybody's saying the same thing. This team, now look, this is the dangerous saying, but we can say it here. The Browns on paper is a wow. I mean, it's very, very wowing. I mean, if Clowney plays what he could play along with Myles Garrett, we haven't even spoken about the offense. Nick Chubb. I mean, it just is a nasty, nasty team. Mm-hmm. And what I like about this club already, and you mentioned Travis Kelce. I give Kelce a lot. Clevelander, by the way. I think Kelce played the right card there, because if you're the Chiefs, you just want to milk this and make them feel as good as possible anyways, just to beat them up. So Kelsey's doing good poker. But I think Kelce was also being very truthful in his answer. They are very good. And I thought Landry's answer was even more eye-opening, saying, yeah, I hear fans talking about Super Bowl, and I think it's fine. Wow. He's right.
Well, at this point, what else? That's what you're striving for. So it should be in the conversation, and it should be the top of mind. That should be the goal this year. It should be the goal every year, but especially this year, especially coming off of what we accomplished last year, how close we came. I just, how is that not? So, there's a lot of new guys. There's a lot of gelling that needs to happen. But if there's anyone that I feel like that one of the top coaches that, these guys could be under, it's Stefanski, hands down. He's definitely in the top 3 to 5 for sure of where I'd want to be with bringing in these new guys for sure.
Stefanski, Andrew Berry has set the tone. And again, for how many times in my and Holly's probably, and all of ours. Eric Wedge won with the Indians, but it was remarkably different once Francona got there.
He traded Ryan Garco.
He did.
Wedge did.
Yeah, we need to find Garco.
Well, he's on my shit list, so.
Oh, we're gonna find a dead day in July. We're gonna find
We're gonna get him on the show.
Oh, I'm going to pull some strings. Anyways, now I got some strings. I always do, but now I got some real strings. I can pull some.
Yeah.
But going back, yeah. But going back to like, I just think this is good momentum. I think it's very real. It is June. This is mandatory mini camp. So there's a long ways to go. Things can change, but I have just been blown away because we have seen, and I can go through shows that Jared and I did, where this has become a shit show week in a way. I've seen it too many times. We've been here where Kellen Winslow is coming off a motorcycle accident, or like a couple years ago, Duke Johnson does a declarative, "I want to be traded." That was a mess. Like all this, and it's just, and then you add the element, and and you mentioned it. OBJ's in camp, and you feel it, but it's not taking it over. And
no, because he's not taking it over either, Andy. I think that's a big piece. He's not trying to be Mr. Showtime out there. And I know minicamp is minicamp. It is what it is. And I know that even Stefanski said that this is a whole different shift for them. They're taking things easier. And it's, but I think at the end of the day, it's a great way to ease in to see what these guys have. And look, I think OBJ is very smart enough to know that coming off this injury, showing what he wants to look, he put what you want on social media. So his videos that he's been posting have been fantastic. He looks awesome. He looks strong. He looks fast, nimble, all of the above. And they are being cautious across the board in minicamp for all the players. But yeah, you're right. Like he shouldn't be. He's not letting it be about just him. He's putting his head in, and he's got a lot to prove. Because at the end of the day, as much as we all love him, and I want him to succeed, and he's a fantastic player, and I want it to work out. There's still a lot. There's a lot riding here because we don't know how fully he's going to recover.
Don't know how fully he's going to recover, and it just speaks to the growth of this team. I just know what I know. I think it's going to be a big year, and yeah, I'm cocky. It's time to be fucking cocky. I saw a Brown. I live in Connecticut.
No, you can be confident, and I don't think that
I'm cocky.
Knowing the Browns are going to be good this year is a cocky thing. I think it's a confident thing. It's a realistic thing.
No, it is. But I'm cocky. Like for people who don't know, I live in Connecticut, and I was at a Little League game, and this woman came by, and she goes, "Oh, I'm from Youngstown." I go, "Yeah," and she goes, "Oh, I see you're a Browns fan." I'm like, "Going to the Super Bowl?" She goes, "Of course." It is so real. It is so exciting. So my one moment before we get to the softball game, which I was blown away by, is enjoy this excitement. We have been through a lot of trash and garbage and bullshit. Enjoy this. This is what it should be like. And I must admit, it's more comforting hearing national people surrounded with like, yeah, that's what we're seeing too.
That's all we've ever wanted to be a part of, Andy. I've said this so many times where I'm watching Sunday Night Football, and I'm like, I wish we had a team like that. Like that was just like that pipe dream, and it's not anymore. It's a realistic thing. So I'm with you. I think for us more realistic fans on this front, that you're right. We should really be enjoying a lot of this more. It's just, you want to proceed with caution into a situation where, we had this amazing uptick. We had this awesome season off of such a crazy year. You just hope that it wasn't just some type of fluke, that they are building something real. And I do have the utmost faith. I really, really do. I'm trying to we can't help it. We cannot help that we are still just going to be like, okay, just let me see though. Just like, let me see, because this is a big year for Baker. This is his biggest year. He has a lot riding on him. And
contract dollars,
everything.
It's a big year. It's a big year for Denzel Ward. It's a big year for Nick Chubb. It's a big year for Clowney.
Yes, all of the above. We have all these weapons. So
we do.
I want to use them, and I want them to, deploy.
Even future free agent Wyatt Teller, big year.
Yeah.
Big year. You can make a big amount of money next year if you play well.
Yep.
By the way, his wife is an excellent follow on Instagram. Excellent follow on Instagram. Yes.
Oh, all right. I'll have to check her out. What does she do?
Fantastic. It's just postings of the day.
Oh.
And I find them. It gets me into the world of what it would be like to be a Browns wife.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It gives me into a peek of like they play golf, they do shopping, at times like she's going on. It's truly like a journal or diary. Like, oh, what are the Towers up to today? Oh, look at that. Like she posted a big picture of like all the Browns wives doing some wine tasting thing, and then Wyatt Teller's doing autographs and they're selling that big alligator photo. It's just I just find I feel like it's authentic.
Yeah. No, that's a big difference because for instance, I follow Baker's wife. There's a lot of promos going on. She's making some good cash, put it that way. A lot of promotions. That's her feed.
Teller's wife is on similar paths at times.
Okay.
But I'm okay with it.
Oh.
I'm okay with it.
You got a little crush over there?
I don't. No. Wait. No. Nope. No, we don't. Wait. We don't. Mr. Teller, I'm a big fan of yours. There's no crush.
That's fun.
I have no crush here. No. No. We're
just
not gonna.
Admiring from afar.
I'm impressed by her posting abilities. Thank you. Thank you. Now let me have a sip of my water. Now let's talk about Wetzel and her shoulder shrugs bullshit. All right. Let's go on to the bigger thing that I saw over the weekend that became big news. I knew the celebrity softball game was going to get traction.
Yeah.
Let me give another kudos. I thought Jarvis Landry's social media team did a great job of building this up. They started building this in March. I thought they did a nice job executing it. Talking from a guy who lives in this space who has to promote things on social media, they amplified it. They did a good job. They got in someone like Travis Kelce that was very smart. They did a nice job of building this atmosphere. It felt like an event, and I didn't know if it was going to be that way. So kudos to Jarvis Landry and his team. It was an event. There was major press there. I saw Jarvis Landry's press conference. It was big. But the thing I told Holly, and I'll say it to now, I was impressed by how many people came.
Yeah,
I was really, really impressed. It felt like a real event. It was a real event.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was out of town, so I didn't go, but I'm not surprised. I went to one, and I can't remember which Browns player had it back. Probably 6-7 years ago had one. I can't remember which player it was. But it was a great time. I mean, it was really neat. There's a lot of people that showed up. And I know they had a huge crowd, but it was the first time that people were like able to attend something, get outside. It was a beautiful night from everything I gathered. It was, it was just an all around good, exciting pump up. Let's rally around, all these famous athletes and stuff. So yeah, it was cool. I saw a bunch of pictures and stuff. So
Bernie Kosar showing up.
Oh yeah.
I mean that was again like kudos. I just want to say he's executed well. In that event, again, like was I stunned? No, but I was pleasantly surprised by the buzz. There was a lot of buzz about that game. In fact, dare I say, and I love the Indians. There was just as much buzz about that than the Indians game going on.
Oh yeah, probably if not more.
Probably. And the Indians had a hell of a win. Came back and won in the 9th inning, 2 outs. I heard more about the celebrity softball game. Indians were down 4-1 in the 9th inning with 2 outs left to go. Nobody on. They came back and won the game. It's a great win. Huge win. Great win.
Well, the Browns just rule. They just rule here.
They're ruling the universe.
There's no competing with them. So a celebrity softball game is going to pull more than. Yeah. But half people can't watch them anyways. So the celebrity softball game.
The late 80s Browns was like this, and it's back to late 80s Browns. It is big. Anyways, that's the status. If people want to break down OTA timings and who looked good in practice, go right ahead. I told you before. I think it's more about the what is the 50,000 foot view of this. And the 50,000 foot view is everybody showed up on time. Chubb and Ward really want to play here. I thought Baker came off really well. The celebrity softball game was a hit. Look, these aren't wins in October or November, but this is a great start PR-wise for the year.
For sure.
Browns are on their way. It feels good. Nothing has changed from the draft. Nothing has changed from the end of last year. Nothing. The train just keeps rolling along. It's amazing. Kudos to the Browns. Love the Indians as well. The Indians are going through I'll just call it they're an ambulance chaser. I mean, right now, Bieber's on the DL or DIL. He's on the IL now for a while. Plesac still on the IL. Fran Milrey's on the IL. Roberto Perez on the IL. These are really stacking up. The Indians are really thin in starting pitching. And yet, Holly, the stat came out on the Indians.com Twitter page. This is their best start with 64 games in many moons. And you wouldn't know it. You just wouldn't know it. So I'll ask again. I'm watching. They're up 6-3 right now. I'll be talking about it on Instagram. I'll be there. I love it. It's Holly. Oh, here we go. Oh, fuck. Come on. Just tell me why. Come on. You've got to be excited about this.
No, I don't. I can't explain it to you. I don't know. I just, my dad and I had a long talk about this over the weekend. And it's just, again, he's just the biggest baseball fan, huge Indians fan, and he's not watching either. And I just, I can't get excited about him right now. I just think I'm going to be out for the season with this whole thing. Wow. Well, I may go to a game. They're just out for me this year, just like Jared was out on the Cavs this past year. That's where I'm at.
Emily Courts teed us up perfectly into something we're going to get into. There's an excellent article written, and I don't have it up, that really talked about Emily's question on Facebook. Do you think it's a symptom of waning popularity of MLB in general? Emily, this attention span thing, the season's too long. Oh, Emily, you're hitting all the notes we were going to get into today. There was a wonderful article done. And really the topic of it was Major League Baseball returned to a sense of normalcy in 2021. But has it? There are signs of a really big, and they did all these different vote breakdowns and stuff. But the big thing is MLB declining popularity and baseball's bigger problems. So Emily, to your point, something that I love baseball. Love it. Will be there every day, clearly, as the Orioles just hit a home run. Fucking Zavali. Love them. Just gave a home run now. But here's the stat, Emily. And you know this better than anybody, Miss Wetzel. What do you think out there is the average fan base right now for Major League Baseball? It is the age of 57. To compare, the average fan for football is NFL is 50, NBA is 42. Baseball's at 57. But here's the alarming one. Per Sports Business Journal, 7% of MLB viewers are under the age of 18. That is not good. There is no... Oh, bingo, Emily. Emily, you and I should talk. Bingo. Old, white dudes.
Yes.
I love this game. I can't get it. I'm doing a film about my favorite team. I love doing it. It's a dinosaur sport right now, and it feels that way. And this study that was done was really well thought out, and it's pointing to the things that Emily's saying, that you've been saying, that your dad and probably. It just feels. I love baseball, and it has a chance of coming back, but there's some staleness to it, and the numbers are saying that.
Oh yeah, well, it just COVID just, if anything, made things even worse for the MLB. I mean, it hurt all sports, but wow, did it really also hurt the MLB?
It really did.
They were already struggling. So, it's just, look, this topic is debated and talked about constantly of what the MLB can do to become more relevant, to become younger, to gain viewership. And obviously it's not going to just be one quick fix or just one thing. It's going to be numerous. But should they shorten games? Should they shorten the season? There's so many, and even the rule situation, like the rule that just came out about, like, so weird. It came out mid-season about the foreign substances, and it's 10-day suspension, and like it's kind of middle of the season. It's just a weird. The way that the MLB operates is just so strange to me. It's just so it's so prehistoric the way that they operate from top to bottom. It's a boys club in a lot of in a lot of different cities. It's just not they don't want to evolve. I think that they kind of this is what is frustrating about the Indians. They just kind of rested on their loins and what they know, and it's gotten them through what they need to get through. And it's just coming so apparent that you can't do that anymore because you're not going to be able to survive.
Can't do it. Before I get to Emily Court's point, and I have 3 boys, so I'm actually ready to give an answer to this because I've noticed something, and this was years ago, not recently. Math is a big part of baseball. I love math. Huge math guy. Math can feel very stale and dorky. Analytics can feel very stale and dorky. Shifts aren't fun. Strikeouts aren't fun. And analytics doesn't count either as a big deal. And that is part of your problem. There's a many other part of your problem. I think a bigger one is like they have such a disparity in money spent. I know there's a strike looming. And I know it's never good to have a strike. But I've said this and I really believe it. I think there's a bigger strike here than just players and owners not agreeing. What are these markets? And we are one of them, folks. In Cleveland, what is it going to be done to the Kansas Cities, to the Clevelands, to the Pittsburghs, who are the money disparity has farthest I can ever see. What is going to happen? Like, is it just going to become a Dodgers, Red Sox, Yankees, Mets sport?
No, but I think and I know the MLB is very different from the other sports, and
very different.
Very different. So I totally get that. I think what the other level of frustration that comes in is when there are opportunities to make your team better, talent wise, and exploring other avenues. I do think the only thing that's really I know we're gonna talk about this later, but one thing that might save some of this with the MLB is the Bally's with the sports betting getting into markets. I think that's going to change a lot of that. So and I'm glad that the teams for the most part seem to be behind all of this and wanted and encourage it, which I hope that they would. They're about to make, a whole lot more money.
Betting will really help this sport out a lot.
That's what it needs. So,
yes.
and that's Emily's question about are the young kids watching it anymore? That you mentioned about your sons, I can only speak to, my nephew, and niece. I mean, they know they're 8 and 4, so they know, but my niece is 8. She's into, my brother has her watch the Browns games and everything, but at the end of the day, they're just not there yet. But you would know way more than I would. I mean, my nephew's only 4, going to be 5. So
Emily, I don't know if you have kids, but if you do, it is a highlight world. What my kids do is they go on YouTube and they watch the highlights.
YouTube is every kid. YouTube is like insane.
Insane. My son loves sports. Cameron Billman watches every Browns game. He will watch an Indians game occasionally, but his biggest thing is I'll watch the highlights. He watched the other day with me a game. He'll watch once in a while. I grew up in this is all you got, so I got to watch sports. Now that day is done, in my opinion, meaning you're not going to have kids like me go, all I can watch is ESPN because I'm not going to watch USA. I mean, it was like the USA Network. I love Comedy Central in the 90s, MTV, but there's only so much of that. Like at night, I want to watch sports.
Hey,
there's not going to be that availability anymore.
Andy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Now, when you say highlights, is he watching highlights for specific sports, or is he watching highlights for everything? Like, is he watching a full Browns game, or is he watching highlights of it and vice versa with the Indians game?
Both. He watches this. Like, here's an example. There's other distractions. Bingo, Emily. 2-year-old. Yep.
Yeah, you watch kids playing video games. That's a thing.
Emily, I have a 14, 11, and 7. My 14-year-old is a big athlete, huge athlete, plays travel lacrosse, had a great year, just got promoted to high school, whatever the fuck that means. So it means he graduated. But anyways, I love him. I'm poor Jackson. I love my kid. Graduated today with honors and being so silly. But my point is Jackson loves sports. Jackson will watch a Browns game, kind of. But even then, he'll go, I'll watch highlights. I'll watch highlights. Cameron, who is my sports buddy, who does watch Indians from time to time, will watch more Cavs games if the Cavs are good. But again, more and more, I'll just watch highlights, Dad. I'll just watch highlights, Dad. I'll just watch highlights, Dad. I'm hearing that more and more. And here's the funny thing. They don't even just watch the highlights. They have these people, Jim Jack, blah, 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 who talks about the games. There's a guy who does an oral history of the Browns, and Cameron Billman loves it. He sent me the video the other day. I laughed so hard. He's texting me. He goes, Dad, I love you. I'm like, I love you too. He goes, this was embarrassing, though. The 2019 home opener against the Titans. I go, that was embarrassing. And I just started laughing because that's how he gets his sports.
Yeah.
I grew up watching Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick or watching Chris Berman do highlights. Those days are gone.
Yep. Well,
They're
so
gone.
do you think then this could transition then into the Bally stuff? Are they going to watch it if it's on an app? Are they going to watch it?
Here's the trick. And I've been saying this for years. In fact, if anybody wants to go in on this with me, I'm going. Here's what I would do. And you're going to miss the kids from 11, 18. In fact, I would debate even in my age group. I don't know how many true fans there were. Is people be passing and even friends who I knew, they wouldn't sit and watch a game. I'm a total dork. I'd watched everything. I would miss dates to go watch Auburn and Georgia as a junior in high school. So I go, it's a good game. I can't go out tonight. I got to watch it. I was stupid. But it's that's what I did. There's a whole different story. Another Nicole from years ago. But my whole point is I would sit there, but it was. We will have.
You are the king of name droppers, by the way. You were the king of name droppers.
This Nicole would laugh about it now, and everything's fine. I fucking blew it, and who cares? It wouldn't have worked out anyways.
Nicole, you're just
Nicole, Jill.
Remind me to leave names out when I talk
know
to you.
I will. I didn't bring up any names today. No names.
Not
names
today. But I don't have anything to report, so.
I have a lot to report on that front too, but we'll talk about that offline. But anyways, the whole big thing is this: when it comes to these gaming, DraftKings. I saw something today on CNBC which caught my eye, which I should have done. Why? Someone, and she was actually a female entrepreneur, bought $32 million worth of shares in the DraftKings. Oh man, did I just freeze? Oh, there we go. So $32 million, DraftKings, Bally Sports, gambling. That's where you'll start catching the 18 to 24-year-old crowd, and people will love it. And I think that will help out baseball immensely. In fact, it's only going to popularize these two sports, NFL and college football. NFL and college football with this will go through the moon. And it's very, very smart that Bally's doing. And in fact, it will help a sport that needs help with ratings in college basketball too.
Mm-hmm.
NBA will do just fine. Anyways, though, all these different things are contributing to this world. And some of it I actually really like. I thought, okay, Emily's on fire tonight. Have you guys heard of this cryptocurrency players? Yes. In fact, there's a guy who we both all love, Kenny Lofton. Kenny Lofton just came out with one. You can digitally trade cards, GIFs. That's right. It's a cool way to get younger people involved. Essentially, pay for a digital pack. You don't know exactly. Emily. Yeah. I just interviewed Kenny Lofton for my film More Than a Diamond. He's into this stuff now. CC Sabathia is into this stuff now. There's a whole bunch of people that are coming out with all these different things that are into this space. This space is exploding.
That's a good point too, Andy, with bringing up the players, because if you notice too that every other major sport, that the professional athletes seem to be way more connected to their fans, wouldn't you say? They're much closer. They seem to be way more interactive. And I don't know what it is about baseball. I just don't get that vibe, and I never have when it came to getting to know, feeling like the players are super involved. Like the NBA players are so. I just feel like they're really involved and with the fans and super interactive, and the NFL. But I just don't feel like that with MLB. So I think that's part of it too. I think encouraging the players to be more connected to the fan, like golf's doing it right now. You know, golf's trying. I think that that's great. They're trying to find ways to connect to the fan and be able to, trend towards reaching that younger demographic.
I liked it better when they were bigger than life, Kevin Atkins. I know what you mean by that comment. And I think Holly makes a great point too. There's a great moment where Phil Mickelson won the PGA. I thought it was very cool. They let the fans. I got a little crazy. And Brooks Koepka, I get it, you're injured, but buddy, you gotta let life have play its course.
But that moment was great.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. People are getting
sport needed that.
too gun shy. Like, I don't want fans storming the court after every big college basketball win, but I do want it once in a while. I think it's needed once in a while. I think it's a good thing once in a while. If Navy beats someday Notre Dame again and they take down the goalposts, good. They should. It's a big deal. Tear them down. We need these things. So to Holly's point with baseball, the steroids era is number one, and people forget about that era. That it brought it the no fun zone, I called it, right? But then, it said this in the study, in 2016, what a surprise, the Indians, baseball numbers were way up. Visually, everything. They were almost hitting records where they were doing again in the early 2000s, 12s, 13s, and broadcasts. These are big numbers. Last year, they only averaged 5 or 6 to give you a disparity, okay? But they can't keep these levels up. I have to admit, I think a big part of this is, like, here's an example. There's a kid tonight playing for the Orioles named Mullins. Wonderful player. Very fast. He's athletic. He's quick. He really plays the game really fast and speedy. We have a great guy named Jose Ramirez. Team guy, city guy, love the guy. Holly, do you know anything about this guy Mullins this year? Have you heard one thing about him from Baltimore? No. Do you think anybody from Baltimore has heard anything about Jerry Ram outside of the city of Cleveland? No.
No, that's what I mean. There's not that same dynamic.
Nothing.
With the players and the fan. There's
Correct.
You really don't know a lot about their lives. You don't.
Did you know a lot about Gardner Minshew when he played for Jacksonville? The quarterback. Remember the quarterback with the mustache? Gardner Minshew?
Yeah, but no, I don't.
Okay. Well, that's good. You shouldn't. But you knew a lot about Tim Tebow signing with Jacksonville.
Oh. Anyway.
So that's another shoulder shimmy. but that might become a signature on the show. Those kind of things, though, is what baseball needs to. I am starting to see some of that energy come back. I don't mind the bat flips. I don't mind the calling out. I'm seeing that more and more. But they're going to have to do a resuscitation. But again, I actually think it's this big a deal. If you're the Kansas City Royals, are you winning it all this year? Probably. Are you winning it all in 2022? Are the Pirates going to be good in 2023? Are the Orioles going to be good in 20? There's no hope. If you're these teams, you don't feel hope. Even the Browns at 1-31, we somehow sniffed dumbness and we're like, maybe we could be good. There is no hope with some of these teams. None.
That is a team by team situation for sure. It is a league issue, hands down, but it is enforced by the teams. I mean, and the Indians I'll use, I guess, as an example, obviously. I mean, it's about capitalizing everything. What the Browns did when they were 0-16 and 1-31. We've still had hope. We still had some type of love and anger because we knew that there was always changes coming on the horizon. There was always that feeling from the upper, the upper group, the top men, as been referred to on other stations and such, that they were really trying to do. We had a million fucking coaches in the past however many years. You know what I'm saying? But at least they were making moves. They were trying. They were making some type of progress, some type of change. They were trying. I think with the MLB right now, it's the same shit, different year. It's the same shit, different year across the board. Nothing's really changing. So here's another teams that need to change their names. That's it, because they're being forced to.
So here's another one. If Kate Cunningham comes to the Cavs excitement goes way up. If the Indians get the number 1 pick next year, does anybody care? No. Baseball has to start finding hope. You have to find hope in some of these teams. If I'm a Buccaneers, if I'm a Pirates fan, there's no hope. Tigers, there's no hope. Why? It feels like it's going to be decades before you're going to start winning again. Decades. You're one draft away in the NFL. You're one player. You're one lottery ball away from it.
That theory, real wrong.
Well, but
not always one draft away.
But Holly, I'm not saying you're wrong or right. What I'm saying is there's that ruse. Okay, I don't hear that ruse in baseball. I don't hear it. There's no hope.
But the Tigers have been good for many years. The Indians have been really good. We've made it to the World Series.
Yes.
It's not like these small markets. I think the NBA is way worse. The NBA is worse than all three of the majors.
I agree.
You can't win unless you are on. The fact that the Lakers and the LeBron James are not in the finals is really, really shitty. And that's what happens with super teams and all that shit, because that's where it goes. When there's no parity across a league, that's what happens. In baseball, there is parity across the league. There are really good players across the board in a lot of different teams, and that's what keeps it all afloat. That's why it gives smaller market teams like Cleveland, like Detroit, like Kansas City an opportunity to make it.
By the way, you're right, but it's not being sucked in by the masses. It's not.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It does. That's what's really, really frustrating about the MLB, because they have an opportunity. They do have something that the other leagues don't. They have that parity, and they don't fucking capitalize on it. That's my issue. Also.
You know why? What's your Sunday night game? You want me to tell you? I don't even know what Sunday night game is. It's either gonna be Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, Mets.
That's any league though, Andy.
That's
any big league.
But it's even worse in baseball. It is
worse in baseball. But that's my problem. That's my problem with it.
No, I agree. You and I, it's funny. You and I are actually more agreeing. I agree with you. I just think look, I love baseball. College football and baseball are my big two. I love those sports. But I can't get over how when I was an 80s kid and the Indians they were terrible. But I got into every game and I got into things and I was into it.
Right.
This year, I love the Indians. I love this team. I love the scrappiness of the team. I do. I hate saying it. I don't know if I got hope for them winning the World Series. I hated saying that, but I don't.
And it was also that era, Andy. All the two other major leagues have been able to, again, change with the times. You have to adapt. You have to adapt. You have to grow with what society is doing. And baseball has always just not been a part of a lot of the major, what's the word I'm kind of looking for? The like the current narrative or the current changes of the landscape of whatever media was doing, whatever the world was doing, whatever's kind of in. The baseball always did their own thing. The NFL's always capitalized on it, and so has the NBA. And we've been able to have some really awesome stars. It's basketball. People like LeBron James and what they've done for the game and for the league is outstanding, and it's something that we hope to see again one day in our lifetime. But who knows? Baseball just seems to have always fallen and rested on what they have and what they know for however many years, because it used to work and it's worked just well enough. And that's where my frustration lies with not all of MLB, but that's where my frustrations lie with the Indians, because they've always done just enough and they've gotten lucky off of it. And finally, they're getting a light shined on them like, hey, this isn't working anymore. So people want more. They want more.
The record says it is. They haven't won this many games, 64 games in many moons. It's so weird to me. I can't explain it. There is a weird fog over my favorite professional sport. There's a weird fog right now. I can't figure it out. But I'm telling you, Emily Courts, do you think revenue sharing is a remedy? I do. I will pound the table. I really do. And I will warn people. If the Rays start getting more money, you better run, because that is a well-run machine and they don't have any money.
Yep.
They are dominating the AL East, and they have no money.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Cash, man. Anyways, well, the other thing I thought about was interesting in this article, and I feel bad. I don't have the link up. Hey, by the way, Javius. Hey, party people. Facebook. I can't get over too, though, and it's finally starting to turn because they are having such a hard time. Their streaming numbers are still rising. I think that will help this sport. And I will add, they were going this article about, do you want to see Ohtani, Mike Trout? By the way, both of them on the Angels. They're not very good. Do you get Tatis? I haven't seen Tatis play once this year. Once. Even
Well,
I turned on.
They're going to get that gambling money, Andy, and that's
Well, it will help. It's going to be a start. And if I were baseball, I'd be out in front of it. Do you care that pitchers can't do sticky substances on balls?
Have they been doing it?
See, here that's why Wetzel's the best. Baseball's been going through this shit for ages.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the shit that they concentrate on.
It's amazing.
Like, it's so frustrating. Like, if they've been doing it, I don't understand. What's the big deal? And that's the focus? That's what the MLB gives a shit about right now? They shouldn't. There's so many other bigger fish to fry.
And by the way, for people out there who hate the Astros, I'm one of them who gets frustrated by them. There was cheating scandals going on in the 40s, 50s, and 60s for people using telescopes and shit. It's been going on forever. Baseball's always had this aura to it. And that's the old white dude thing, by the way. It's old white dude thing. A little too old white dude. But anyways. I'm an old white dude, so maybe I'm making fun of me. But anyways. So Holly hit on another topic and we'll go through quickly. So is anybody getting excited for Jazz Suns? Might be a big Western Conference final coming up soon. I love the Suns. I like their energy they play, but there's now a new issue. Chris Paul out with COVID. Clippers and Jazz, big game. Big game. Kawhi Leonard might be out for the season. Right now, going on in the East, Kyrie Irving doesn't have it looks like his ankle sprained. I don't know what to say about James Harden, even when he plays. Suns look really good, Emily. And Phoenix is a great basketball town. In the 80s and 90s, Phoenix was always good. Made multiple NBA. They made the finals back in the 70s against the Celtics. And they made in the 90s against the Bulls. Suns have a great history of basketball. Good basketball town. Fun to see. And that Booker kid is wonderful. They play quick. They play fast. The fans are into it. I am a secret Suns fan. I love seeing the Suns doing this.
That's so funny. I was such a big Steve Nash fan when he played for the Suns. Like, I was a huge Nash fan and was a secret Suns fan. Who knew, Andy?
I loved the Suns growing up in the 80s with Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley and Chambers. They were such a fun team. They had this cool mascot named the Gorilla, who would do dunks and fancy things. In fact, I had a T-shirt. My dad got me once. He went to some conference back in the late 80s and he got me the Gorilla T-shirt. I was 10. I was so excited. But anyways, it's good to see. But the NBA, it's going to be interesting. They have a lot of players who are getting hurt. And these are big names. Yeah. Big names. Chris Paul being out's a big name. But what this has done and what is wonderful is the Lakers found out because Anthony Davis is out. It's allowing the sport to become more competitive. You now have to watch Jazz Clippers. You have to watch. Yeah. Bucks Nets was wonderful last night.
Great.
Wonderful.
Durant
game.
Put on a damn show.
He did. And I'll tell you, I love Giannis. My son, Cam, that's his second team. He's a Cavs fan through and through, but he likes Giannis. Giannis has got to catch that ball in the game. You've got to catch that ball in.
Oh, every play counts.
If for people who didn't see it, Giannis got a pass right in the middle, and I can't say that it is a flat drop. Milton made a great move, gave him the ball in the center, under a minute left to play. That's what you want. The best, and he just fumbled it. I don't know what else to say. Fumbled it. Bad loss for the Bucks. Bad loss for the Bucks.
Yeah, but it does give that opportunity to focus on those teams. And then you got, I saw LeBron shooting up a bunch of tweets about players getting hurt and, we got to protect our players and I know people want to see, their favorite players play. And it's just, look, we're in a weird season. Okay. Everything's rushed. They're trying to cram in as much as they can so they can make sure everybody's getting paid. All right. And he's going off about the injuries and stuff. And I get it. It is frustrating. It is tough. But anyway, did you see those tweets? It really irked me. It irked me. It did, because it's like, and also you're not in the playoffs because you didn't make it. Okay. Like you didn't, or the finals, you didn't make it past the first round. It happens. It's okay. He's not crucified forever from it, but it is what it is. And he's always just got to add his 2 cents. And I just felt like that was, what are you going to do this year? We were all under, it's obviously everybody was, but professional athletes were under a whole lot of stress and a whole lot of pressure. And the leagues were doing everything they possibly could to make sure that these guys could play. And it's never good enough.
Well, Holly, I'll say this though. We weren't saying that after Durant and Klay Thompson got hurt. in the finals against the Raptors. Both of them had serious injuries. We didn't say that. I mean, and by the way, we love the Cavs. Kevin Love got hurt against Celtics. He didn't hear anybody. Or Kyrie Irving's knee.
Well, they're saying because he was complaining about the games being too close, right? Wasn't that the?
I won't get into what LeBron said, but I'm hearing that drumbeat a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. My comment is, I think there's been so many other injuries throughout the years. It just people haven't noticed it. It's now happening to. I mean, these are big, Kawhi, Chris Paul.
Right.
These are big ticket items.
Well, it happens.
And see, right? That's what I was gonna say.
It's not any deep ploy against anything or anything.
But that's my point. It happened when 16 with Bogut. Bogut got hurt in the finals. It happens. Yeah. It's just happening to big name players.
It's part of the game.
It's part of the
fact that LeBron hasn't been severely injured in of however 17 years that he's played. That's why he gets paid. That's why he gets paid a lot of money. That's why he's a top 10, top 5 player of all time, in my opinion. I mean, that's a rare thing.
Yes. Emily Courts, it comes off a little bitter, but he's also got a good point. Yeah, well, right. I don't know if you're talking about me. That came on late, Emily. It's my fault. Bad directing there. These players play a ton of minutes. That's why the best players are getting hurt. Yes, agreed, Emily.
But this is a special year. This is a COVID year. This is not a normal. There's other years, teams are getting 3 days before they go out and play again. They're getting a shit ton of time in between to play. This year is different. It just is what it is. There's no. He has to throw his 2 cents in for what? Because he wants to stay relevant. That's fine. I get it. But at the end of the day, the issue of there being more injuries. Yeah, there's more injuries. It's not a fault of anyone outside of the fact that if they are playing more minutes, that's what they're getting paid to do. I just don't see what that issue is. They're getting paid to play.
I don't think the injuries are that different. I don't.
No.
I just think they're just happening to bigger name players. There's been many injuries throughout the NBA playoffs. I just think this year happened to big ticket items.
Yeah,
now,
agreed.
I just think that's it. I am so excited about June 22nd. Are you? You know what's going on June 22nd? You should know. Every Clevelander should know. Watching these playoffs, just let us know how far away the Cavs really are. JVS on July 22nd. The ping pong balls are going to be tossed in the air. We're going to find out where we're drafting.
Might juggle. You juggle, Andy?
I fucking don't juggle now. I am. It's funny. I had a conversation with a new friend of mine, and she goes, "Oh, so what?" I go, "I'm not handy. I go, I can't fix anything." I go, "We ever have a problem when we're going to call someone?" And then she goes, "Like, well, I can't juggle, so no, I can't."
I thought at first you were going to say handsy.
No.
I'm not real handsy,
Just do their shoulder shifting. Let's go to the final topic. Jesus.
Where's my mind today?
I don't know. I don't know. Must be in that vodka that froze. So last comment for everybody out there. Holly and I love fun topics, and she sent me this during the middle of the Little League game shows. We should talk about this. There was a couple who got, it's in the New York Times. I didn't even read the story too much. I just saw the clippings. They basically got engaged in front of a tornado, and they're storm chasers.
Yeah. Well, they work for AccuWeather. So one's a storm chaser, one's I think doesn't there. But whatever.
Okay, but come.
No, that doesn't make it better. They were storm chasers.
To Emily Court's point, here's the thing I've learned. Everything's got to be extreme or really funny or dark or rigid or polarizing. The most epic engagement ever. Yep. We're gonna announce the sex of our baby by throwing magical bombs in the air, and it's gonna turn blue or pink.
Even prom, like getting asked to prom now, is a whole fucking thing. It's a major. Can you just ask? I got asked by my friend turning around in class and being like, "Hey, you want to go to prom?" Sure, cool. Turn back around. There we go.
Yes.
Done.
Yes.
I didn't need anything special.
Same to me. Went across. I'm like, you want to go out? Yeah, let's go out. Yeah, that's it. Nothing needs to be a show.
No.
And that is
you don't need to risk lives. You do not need to get your tornado crew. And the guy was talking through about how the fact that he was so nervous that it wasn't going to turn into a tornado.
Oh,
and they wouldn't be able to do it. It's like, what the fuck? What if that tornado turns into something even bigger and kills people? Because that's what tornadoes do. And you're going to be wondering about your engagement? What if you died? That is a real thing. It's ridiculous.
Holly, I can't get over how everything has to be epic or extreme.
And over the top. One up and
over top. So that's why I'm going to leave this today. I'm very proud of my son. I'm very proud of all these things. I know Holly went down for a preschool grad, and they're sweet, and they're very, very, very cool. And it's very neat, and it's good to honor kids.
Of course.
And you're very, very proud.
Yes.
There is a part of me, though, that also says, when is enough is enough? When have we hit the wall of like, because Jackson asked me, well, what did you do when you went? I go, I got a piece of paper and I sat in an auditorium and then I went home. I go, Grandma and Granddad did not come.
No, we didn't graduate from 8th grade. It was like, no, you're done with middle school. Now you go to high school. There's no graduating. Yes. There's none of that.
Yes. And again, I don't want to pee on these parades. I know, I get it. It's great. I've done 2 of them now. Preschool graduation, elementary school.
Yeah.
And now I get it. But this is my whole point about, you know what we're going to do? We're going to propose ourselves in front of a tornado.
You can Photoshop a background now. Just Photoshop the background. And act like you were there. Just do that.
Just go to a cheesecake factory and propose there. Okay? Okay. Or I don't know, get crazy and maybe do it on your couch. Like, you know what? I love you. I just want to tell you how much I love you. I think we should get married. Instead of nice text.
Get down on one knee, notes. I like the one knee. I
didn't say that. I said that's fine.
No, I know. I'm just telling you.
Yes. And I'm fine with
whoever's listening for my future.
Take notes out there.
Please. Yeah. There's so many steps that have to happen before that, but I'm just dreaming big here.
Set the Edge, sponsored by Dreaming Big. Everybody out there?
That's right.
Emily Quartz, Javius Hurd, Kevin Atkins, somebody named Joe at the top. Thank you. We love you all. Wednesdays we'll be back for Holly and I. I'm not traveling anymore. I don't think there's going to be more crazy stupidity. Of course, as soon as I say that, I'll be traveling next week. But it's great to have everybody back. I'm excited about the Browns. Go Tribe. Roll Tribe. We're going to the playoffs. Get excited about the lottery, Javius. Cade Cunningham coming to Cleveland. I will say this. If that happens, you watch the Cavs will explode into. That's what's fun about the NBA. You're one lottery, and this is a good year to be in the lottery. You're one Cade Cunningham away from like, oh, we're back. It's amazing.
It is.
I have one more random comment. I can't get over how all these coaches are getting fired. The latest one today is Van Gundy from the Pelicans. They did have a disappointing season. They got fired. I think we should keep an eye on this, and I think this is a good story out of something. I felt bad for Stan, but I'll tell you the good. There's a lot of rumors about this woman, Witherspoon, and then Becky Hammond's being thought of as maybe a head coach. And I would keep your eye on that story. I think that is something that can happen. I think it's going to happen this year. I think it's a good thing for the sport. And these women are deserving to be coaches.
It would be huge. Absolutely.
Be really cool. All right. Well, and there, for those of you who don't know, Cameron Billman, kudos. They won their playoff game. That means we get more playoff games. I'll tell you my real feelings offline. I'm excited for Cameron. There's nothing more I love sitting out in the outfield between 5 and 8 o'clock. But I'm so excited for those guys. They played so hard. I got one more. I got one more comment. It is amazing how in these games parents react to kids playing Little League baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Andy, I was almost kicked out of a high school basketball game.
Oh, were you really?
So I'll save that story. But yes, my sister and I were almost kicked out. The other woman was kicked out. But
my dad ran Little League for 2 years. And then the show on this comment, we had parents blocking our driveway so we could not get in because they were arguing about how many innings a kid pitched from the week before. True story.
Parents.
And that's one of the lighter stories.
Oh, I know. This woman ended up taking down to the station.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
excited.
She's the coach's wife.
Oh,
another story, another day.
Another story, another day. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta run. Goodbye. Go Browns. Tomorrow night, Jared and I, 1:00 game. Holly won't be watching it, but we'll be watching the Indians here. Indians and Orioles. We'll be checking it out. Everybody have a great night. Everybody, roll Tribe, roll. Take care. Remember, if you're going to get engaged, just get down on one knee.
That's right.
That's all you need to do.